personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 97. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Jerome Boger absolutely screws the Falcons. Back to you in the studio, Joe. Thank you, random stock video reporter I found on the internet. This is obviously not roughing the passer. Jerome Boger made a bad call, but this call also wasn't surprising. As you can see here in this Bills and Ravens game, he made a similar bad call. Furthermore, the team has actually been banned from doing future playoff games because of their performance in the Cincinnati Bengals and Las Vegas Raiders wild card last year. As you can see in this play, a whistle was blown in the middle of a touchdown play, yet the play counted. The Bengals would go on to win by 7, showing that that touchdown could have thoroughly changed the game. So how does Jerome Boger and his team have a job? Well, I'm not too sure, but let's get into the game wrap-up of the Falcons versus Buccaneers as a whole. While Falcons fans may always wonder what if Grady Jarrett doesn't get called for a penalty there, this game was lost way before that. By scoring 0 points until the fourth quarter, you are essentially guaranteeing yourself a loss. But before we talk about the offense, let's talk about the defense. From a point total, they did good. Allowing 21 points to a potent Buccaneers offense is a pretty good stat. Furthermore, allowing points in only the second and third quarter with 13 points and 8 points respectively is good. By allowing no points in the first and the fourth, you allow your team to come out hot and finish hot. While the Falcons were unable to come out hot, by allowing no points in the fourth, this made it a close game. One of the biggest plays came in the first quarter. With the Buccaneers offense driving, the Falcons defense stuffs them on 4th and inches in our own red zone. This really could have produced a momentum swing, and while the Atlanta Falcons offense couldn't score, it really did a good job of showing the defense can do a job. Now, let's get into the stats. Tom Brady threw 52 times for 35 completions, 351 yards, and 1 touchdown. However, he only had a QBR of 46.2 and a rating of 92.7. This is actually extremely comparable to Marcus Mariota's game, as you'll see later, kind of showing that the defense did a great job. They rushed the ball 23 times for an average of 3 yards, probably 3.5 if you take away Tom Brady's kneels. However, while I think the defense did good, there are things to work on. While Grady Jarrett should have gotten a sack at the end of the game, the Falcons' defense comes away with 0 sacks on the stat sheet. While some edge rushers were hurt, such as Malone before the game and Ogundeji during the game, I believe we need to have more sacks to be successful in the league. Furthermore, I think Dean Pees' system might be failing. He is focused on unique blitz packages, and if they're getting no sacks, it seems like he's failing. Furthermore, he seems content with letting the ball be completed short. Leonard Fournette had 11 targets and 10 receptions, leading the team, and Cade Otton had 7 targets for 6 receptions, third on the team. This shows that Dean Pees is okay with allowing the check down, which could lead to easy first downs and breakaway touchdowns. While the tackling was mostly good this game, it could lead to detrimental failures in the future. However, overall, I do believe the defense performed well, and I'll talk about some specific players later. Let's get into the offense. As stated earlier, the offense scored no points into the fourth quarter, in which they scored 15. 15 points are usually not going to be enough to win you the game, especially against a potent offense like the Buccaneers. But I do think the offense showed some promise in the fourth quarter. While drives consistently stalled out in the first, second, and third quarter, it looked easy in the fourth. While this could be due to Todd Bowles changing his coaching approach in the fourth quarter and playing more conservatively, I did like how the Atlanta Falcons moved the ball then. However, it doesn't take away from bad performances in the first, second, and third quarters. Let's get into the stats. Mariota threw the ball 25 times for 14 completions, 147 yards, and 1 touchdown. He had a QBR of 59.0 and a QB rating of 86.6. As stated earlier, this is comparable to Tom Brady, but it's not good. This shows more that Tom Brady didn't have a great game, as Marcus Mariota is a replaceable level QB. Furthermore, Marcus Mariota took 5 sacks, losing 37 yards. This number could have been even greater if it wasn't due to his legs and being able to escape sacks. So an offensive line that has looked good to start the year really faltered today. Furthermore, the rushing game was just okay. Marcus Mariota was the leading rusher, but if you take him away, the rushing game wasn't great. Tyler Algier only averaged 3.5 yards per carry, Caleb Huntley only averaged 4.3, and Avery Williams only averaged 3.7. They also all broke off long gains, and if you took those away, their average goes down a lot. There's not much to talk about in the receiving game. No one did great. Drake London had 7 targets, but it does seem like we missed Kyle Pitts. Even though Kyle Pitts hasn't been completely involved in the offense this season, it's clear that he gives defenders a player to take away and opens up other players. Put simply, the offense was just not enough today, and hopefully it goes back to the winning ways it had in the earlier first 4 games. Finally, there's the last couple of players I want to talk about. Younghoe Koo was 0 for 1 in the field goal game and 1 for 1 in the extra point game. He missed a 52-yard field goal wide right. This allowed the Buccaneers to drive about 30 yards downfield and kick a field goal before half. It was a huge momentum swing going into half, and you gotta think if Younghoe makes that field goal, this could have been a different game. Another player I wanted to highlight was Mykal Walker. With 11 total tackles, he seemed to be all over the field. The same goes with Jalen Hawkins. The young safety was in the box a lot and made a lot of tackles next to Mykal Walker. Finally is Avery Williams. While he only got 5 touches the entire game, the converted corner honestly to me looked like one of the most dynamic running backs we have. While Tyler Algier and Caleb Huntley are mostly downhill runners, Avery Williams looked explosive. I think he should get more touches in the future. My final thoughts on this game are that we should have won. But those are my final thoughts on every game. I think the Falcons are a better team than we give them credit for. They fight a lot, and that was shown a lot in this game. Arthur Smith, despite whatever you think of his offensive strategy, which has been working by the way, gets these players to play extremely hard. They had a lot of fight. It's easy to roll over when you're down 21-0, but instead the Falcons were about 1 play away from making this a real game and scaring the Buccaneers at home. Put simply, I really do like the Falcons this year. They have a lot of dog in them, and while they lost, I think this is a bright future for a rebuild. Thank you guys for watching Pete's Shade Sports. This has been Joe Copshow. I'll see you next time.